Guys, I legit found why my airplane crashed. Okay, you guys saw my airplane sitting in a field, and yes, that is an actual picture of the accident. So let me tell you how it got there. You know, wondering what actually happened myself, I tried reaching out to the owner of this just before me and I was never able to make contact with him. But I have been posting pictures of this on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and somebody actually reached out to me and said, hey, that was my hangar neighbor's. That was his plane, and sent me the story of what actually happened. So the story kind of goes like this. He was flying this guy inverted. Yes, inverted. I mean, it is a clip-wing Cub, and so that would make sense, except for one thing, which is right back here, 26-inch tires. Who puts bush wheels on a clip-wing Cub? Regardless, he was flying inverted and his gasculator had failed. And if you don't know what that is, I'll show you what it looks like in just a second, but think of it kind of like a fuel filter. And during that failure and flying inverted, debris that was at the base of it got into the fuel system. And that brings us to right here, which is the gasculator itself. So this sat on the firewall of the engine bay, and yeah, it failed when he was going upside down. So you can imagine debris in here getting into the fuel system. Now, when I'm saying the gasculator failed, I mean, it was a failure, but it was more of an installation failure. And you can see when I let go of the rubber ring here, that actually lifted up. You can see right under there how that's folded over, which means this was installed kind of like that. And if we look back behind the mesh right there, you can see there's the output that goes to the fuel pump. Now, regardless of that, I have been working on the fuel system of this airplane, getting it ready for startup. And let me show you where that's at. Now, when this was all torn apart before, every piece of it was just kind of thrown places, and this is what was on there, and it's not quite the right part. This is the part that's supposed to be on there. It's got a little lock nut, it screws in, and there's a washer inside of there. So yeah, I didn't know that this was the part until I got that. And then when I realized what this was, I took a really close look at it and I found something. Oh, focus. That didn't focus very well, so let's try over here. There we go. You can see in this is debris that corroborates the story that I was told that the gasculator had failed, which is the reason the airplane crashed. It was starved of fuel. I don't know why I'm so excited that I actually found this, but I want to tear this apart and see what's on the inside of it. So I've got my Harbor Freight pick set, and we're just gonna dig into this thing and see what we can find. Oh my gosh, was it seriously that easy? Oh, wow. This just actually looks like leaves. What in the world? This surprises me. There's organic matter inside of the fuel system. And I'm picking this up and it's breaking, but you can see there's a little hole inside of it. This is just nuts. So I'm legitimately not quite sure what to make of this. I mean, you can see right through it, but it leads me to believe that this airplane was stored somewhere where leaves was able to get into the fuel system and was just collecting down inside of this until it failed. It's kind of crazy, but I mean, it makes sense. You plug a fuel line and fuel can't be delivered. Part of the story, they were telling me that there was a wobble pump inside of this. So it's a hand pump to be able to generate fuel pressure inside of the system. And in order to keep the engine even remotely running, he had to be using that wobble pump the entire time, which would make sense to be able to force fuel past debris like this. In doing some of my research, I did find another aircraft that had more organic material in it, just like this one, and had a crash landing. So maybe it's more common than I thought that it was. But, you know, just doing this, I felt like a detective figuring it all out, and it was just fun. So I'm glad you guys have been following along, and we're getting ready for engine startup on this really soon. So make sure to subscribe and share this with your friends because it is happening. But we're gonna end this one here. So as always, share aviation wherever you can, and we'll see you in the next one.